Hey guys, what's going on? I hope that went okay. Oh, did 20 seconds of it? Well. I think that's free range. You can probably do the full song. It doesn't matter. Anyways, guys, welcome to Cask Strength. Yeah, we are doing Cask Strength Whiskies tonight. CS Live 55, slowly creeping up to that 60 episode mark, which is kind of cool. So we are going to do Cask Strength Whiskies tonight and other Canadian whiskeys that are amazing that other people cannot get their hands on. And we intend to make people jealous because in Ontario, it is very hard to get other good whiskeys. So we have to hoard all the good stuff for us. So I'm going to introduce the usual cast of characters. You got me, Vito. We're going to bring in Brad.
Hey.
And Dan, obviously. The usual suspects.
Jeremy, Blue Jays jersey.
That's right.
Jeremy is working tonight, so we do not have an Aussie. So it's legitimately all Canadian tonight. And we're going to introduce three of our good friends. Firstly, David.
I guess I'm first.
You're first. I'm not getting anyone notice. David is a good friend of ours. We've known him for a couple of years now. He is a master sampler and just a stand-up gentleman in all categories of life. So
best sample pourer in the business.
Yep. Might have to show off some skills.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in Adam, master taster.
Hello.
Master taster of Reddit fame and lore.
He is master.
He has the opposite tasting notes of me. all of the tasting notes go to Adam.
All right.
And last but not least, the ever lovely and multifaceted James.
Wow, I like that introduction. That's nice.
and
another
Jays memorabilia.
Completely unscheduled. We're on that same wavelength.
Damn Canadians.
Right.
So yeah, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah, really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Had a delivery from James just in time to fully take part in
Nice.
Although small part of me wishes maybe I was in Brad's shoes where I kind of wasn't, had a little more freedom on what I'm pouring.
I don't have all of the same things, unfortunately, but I do have some interesting options that I think will suit me just fine.
Certainly do.
So this is the first time that James has been on one of these streams. Adam's been on a couple before. So for some longtime viewers, you'll remember Adam. Dave, you've been on After Dark. Have you been on a normal stream before?
No, it was my first normal stream.
Well, welcome.
They're
Now I get
so
saved
much
to
more
YouTube.
Organized than the After Dark.
Yes, exactly.
Don't worry.
This one's
We're
saved to
totally
YouTube,
professional.
so I better be on my best
We're
game.
totally professional on this one.
Oh, yes.
So Patrick, he is alive, thankfully. Graham, congratulations. I believe Graham Young got 10 out of 10 on the Aquavite quiz today.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, that's an
Nice.
accomplishment right there.
Nice. Yeah. Graham is no slouch by any means. He's very, very knowledgeable and very, very generous, as you guys will all see in a future episode. Patrick, no. Normal is not something I think that we conform to or fall under.
Even if we tried, I don't think we could pull it off.
Whiskey Jason, I think got 10 out of 10 too because he's like, "What about me?" And I didn't. Whiskey Jason, I wasn't even sure that you were on in a chat. So yeah,
there were a few people that got 10 out of 10 that I saw.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
a
sure how
couple
many.
of questions were hard. I don't know if anyone caught some of the questions. Like Chad was from It's Bourbon Night made the questions, and like there were two of them that were like, "What? Like who would know this?"
Yeah, obscure Four Roses things and stuff. Like I have no idea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Guess randomly.
All right.
Not my area.
So I'm I'm going to propose a quick thing. If you guys do have a glass in hand, just a quick little toast to everybody, all the frontline workers that are out there. Graham is actually working tonight. He is masked and working. So thanks for popping in while you can, Graham. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate what you're doing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Oh,
that's
yes.
nice.
Oh, my goodness. Nobody would believe that came out of Canada.
So what? So what did everyone drink a little bit of there?
Alberta Premium Cask Strength.
All right, Brad, what did you have?
I am currently drinking Shelter Point Artisanal Cask Strength.
Nice.
Because I don't have the
Nice.
Alberta Premium Cask Strength.
Dave, what did you have?
I had the Lot 40 Cask Strength.
Lot 40
the
Cask Strength.
third release. So the NAS release.
Good. Adam
I also had some Alberta Premium Cask Strength.
and James.
Alberta Premium Cask
God,
Strength.
God damn it! I should have had it. I poured myself some Eau Claire single malt.
No, that's fine.
That's still a good choice.
It is. A Canadian choice. These are all going to be Canadian whiskeys tonight.
Yeah, and all Canadian whiskeys that, for the most part, are generally not available in the U.S. There are obviously exceptions. I can't put a blanket over it all. But for the most part, they are only available in Canada, and some of them that will be shown and enjoyed were only available in Ontario. So I'm really excited to have this episode because we have a bad rap as a whiskey region. People in the know are unfortunately Canadians because we get to try it up here, and truly it's an easy thing to say, oh, you don't get the good stuff down there, but genuinely you don't. Our stuff doesn't go down to the States, much less Europe or anywhere else in the world. So we're gonna share some notes and experiences and stories and opinions with you guys, and hopefully maybe get a few of you Americans mouth watering for some of the good stuff that we have.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we go through the gauntlet, the little gauntlet? So Patrick is
We get some, Patrick. We get
Some.
some. A lot of it stays out east or out west, and we have to be creative. But
And
Yeah.
we do get some good whiskey, but it's usually very, very high priced.
yeah,
We pay through the nose for it. That's the key.
Absolutely.
so
The cask picks are mostly mediocre. There have been some excellent ones I've found in the past couple of years, but there have also been some bad ones. I'm remembering one specific whiskey, which I think we can all.
Yes, it's not here. It's downstairs. I have to go
good. That's
run
where
for
it
it.
should be,
Yeah.
out of arm's reach.
Further
Yeah,
away.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You don't even want to grab that one by accident.
But we gave a sample of that to Ed from Rocket, did we not?
Yes.
And he liked it.
And
I
he
don't know.
liked
He's
it.
weird.
He
He
Ed-
didn't hate it as much as some other things. I don't know if that's the same as liking it on the Rocket review.
I know.
It
I
wasn't
know.
the
Some of the
worst.
other things he drank.
And someone didn't put the sour wine vinegar, like the wine vinegar
Oh yeah.
in his head. Once it's in your head, you're like, that's all I taste.
To fill everyone in, this was a Tomatin, 2007, I think.
There's a 14-year-old single barrel cask strength from a
retail
sherry butt.
Sherry butt. There you go.
And everything about it said this should be good. I picked it up and I drank it, and I'm like, something's off. Like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And then I got the sour wine note. It's like literally take sour wine vinegar, let it sit out for 5 days, and then go smell it, and that's what it tastes like.
Yeah, I remember at the tasting, or with the gathering, whatever it was, when you guys were all having that. And as usual, I was behind about 3 or 4 pours. So by the time I came close to having that, and all I'm hearing is you guys just like rip it apart. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one. So I can't say that I've had the displeasure of trying that, but I do know it's one of the most disliked that has been a consensual dislike amongst everyone.
Which is a really
minus
bad
try
shame
again.
because Tomatin is actually like usually pretty good.
There's
Yeah.
some tomatoes.
And I
Yeah,
even
and
I
a
even
single
reached out
barrel
to
cask
the,
strength.
Yeah.
I even reached out to the rep, the Tomatin rep, and he was like, "Dude, I don't know what happened." He's like, "That's your the LCBO rep picked that barrel."
Cheapest possible barrel they could go with,
Yeah,
so they could mark it up the most.
yeah.
Yeah, there was one person at the table that liked it, and I think he picked out pineapple and something else that didn't go with pineapple at all. And he said, "I can see where you guys say it's wine vinegar, but it's actually this." And
All right.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're,
everyone's
you're,
different.
you're,
you know?
you're
Yeah,
wrong, and you deserved.
Yikes.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's all start with the Alberta Premium, the Alberta Premium Cask Strength, bottled at 65.1%.
Why don't you hold up the bottle so we don't have to, Vito, or somebody that's got one? Mine's not in
Mine's
my
not here.
I'll do that. Hold on, let me see if I can work this properly.
This is what
Yeah, I
my
could
bottle
just
looks
make you
like.
big.
Yeah,
While everyone takes
I
a
beat
peek
that one.
at that, I'm just going to quickly say to Patrick, if you do come up to Canada, you'll obviously get super, super spoiled as much as you possibly could for Canadian whiskey up here.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Let me get mine. Give me a sec.
So this is Canadian rye whiskey. Now, gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong. This is majority rye, correct? Or is this a Canadian rye? Is it the categorization?
I believe this is legitimate rye. I could be wrong though, because of those laws. They don't have to disclose it.
According
Well,
to
I'm pretty sure it's a real rye.
The notes that I get off of it scream 100% rye.
Vito.
It is in fact 100% rye from the
Okay, there you
research that
go.
I've done. Yeah,
All right.
this was bottled just last year.
There you go, Vito.
A recent
Want
release.
to pop it up?
There you go. Yep.
I already did.
No, you did. Okay.
Yep, thanks. So 100% rye, cask strength Canadian whiskey. What is everyone? Let's go in order. Let's go counterclockwise from Dave. Dave, Adam, James, me, Brad. Brad doesn't have this, and then Dan.
Just gonna sit here quietly drinking my shelter point.
When it gets to you, you talk about the shelter point.
Well, I mean, immediately what hits you is the dill pickle juice. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, you open the bottle and you get knocked upside the head with that flavor. There is the rye spice sitting underneath it, but yeah, it's heavy, heavy, heavy. Like the juice from the dill pickle. It's just a little bit of brine kicking in there, but it's really, really good. I don't know. What do you say, Adam?
It's actually my first time trying this. I've had this. This is what my bottle looks like. I've had this sample for a few months now, I guess. This is my first time breaking it open. It smells really intense. To be fair, I haven't drank a lot of rye. I've had maybe like 10 ryes.
7,500 scotches and 10 ryes.
We're in the same boat, man.
The ratio is not that different, but
No.
yeah, it's definitely has that pickle type of note. The first thing I got was like almost a hot dog, but I think we figured out that it wasn't so much like the meat of a hot dog as like the dill and the mustard seed.
I think I get where you're coming from, but it's like hot dog water.
Yeah, it's that kind of savory,
in like a good way though.
Almost sweaty.
Yeah.
Is the term that keeps coming to mind.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet underneath. There's like I'm getting a lot of peach, some lemon oil, some caramel, a little bit of banana, almost like a banana cream pie type of thing. That kind of sweet banana.
Yeah, you want me to do tasting notes after Adam?
Sorry,
I should have done mine.
Adam should have gone last.
It smells like whiskey.
Hey.
I had my first 4 that I did before we got started, and it sat for a little while. It's all dill. The dill just like erupts out of the glass for me more than anything else.
Yeah, I find that too with air.
Yep.
Graham Young mentions mint. I totally get mint on the nose.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Graham, that that mint and dill
Sweaty
note
balls.
that's similar is what I call a eucalyptus. And it, just for me and my nose and my palate, it is that dilly minty. It's like a spicy mint, and that's what I always, when I get something that's dilly and minty, and sometimes in some bourbons I get that. I'll always, it just reminds me of eucalyptus.
Yeah, I get the dill on the nose, but I find that mint eucalyptus note you get later on in the taste on the palate.
Yeah.
It's a good. If Canadians would do whiskey like this all the time, we'd have a much better reputation worldwide, I think.
I think that is the point we're going to get across tonight.
And full disclosure, I've said before on some other groups, regular Alberta Premium is terrible. For me personally, I find it's undrinkable neat. It's undrinkable neat. Brad would know, so would Vito.
Yeah.
I do it.
Vito has a few bottles
on
of
the
it.
After Dark stream. I drink the shitty Canadian stuff that you all left me.
Yeah, Vito's talked a lot of crap about whiskey, but he seems to have an awful lot of classic whiskey making.
That bottom shelf back there is just full of Canadian whiskey.
That was a fun afternoon.
That's the bottle that we pulled from your Alberta Premium. So the bottle still lives.
Oh God!
Nice.
Different bottle size, right?
Yeah, we just did a sample bottle out because we needed to take some.
Yeah, we had to maintain the illusion of what was actually happening.
Fucking hell. So to Jim, I'm gonna doubt myself again, but Jim's Floydian. You're not selling the whiskey with the hot dog water. Well, how does Lefroy sell by saying that it tastes like Poseidon's taint?
I don't think they put that on their marketing materials.
Yeah, it's on the marketing.
They should.
They do.
They should.
Really?
One of
Word
their,
for word.
It's part of like their like funny like marketing where it's like it smells like a
All
burning.
about licking mermaids.
Yeah.
The one I remember was open mouth kissing a cigar smoking walrus.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, I think.
I like it.
Yeah, so that's why it's like a weird sweat. Like Adam was saying, it's like meat sweats along with like fresh dill.
This is a funkier hot dog than I've gotten from Lefroy.
I'm totally getting that banana, but like not so much the meat of the banana, but like the inside of the banana peel.
Ooh, that's a level too deep for me, man.
Like a little bit more bittery.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think you're right.
This is probably this does not smell because I haven't tasted it yet. This does not smell recognizably Canadian at all to me. No. Again, my baseline for my reference point for Canadian is obviously Crown Royal, Alberta Premium, Canadian Mist, like the like JD Weiser's, like the base stuff. It has none of that like odd funk that I normally say that a Canadian whiskey has because of all the blending that occurs with the process and the distillation process and everything.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's a problem that we have as being labeled as that type, because that's all the stuff that does make it down to the States.
Yep.
I'm totally trying to outdo Adam right now.
Can't be done.
Taking his note one line.
Trying is the key
trying.
word.
That's the key. Trying.
Trying and failing. That's okay.
All right, Brad. Talk about the Shelter Point.
It's good. It's real good, you guys. I like it a lot.
Brad tasting notes are the best. Yep.
It actually is good. I think that you brought some of that down our way.
I think that's one of the ones that I brought. I brought a couple of different Shelter Point sort of large samples to split around with people.
Actually, I think you have some, James.
I think I might actually.
But yeah,
I don't have it here.
I think I gave that. I think that was in the Christmas stuff.
It's quite tasty, actually. It's very, very honey. This one, honey forward.
Yeah,
but like not sickly, thankfully, because I can't stand that.
What is the ABV on that, Brad?
The ABV, I was just looking for it.
46.
58.7. Oh, excellent.
That's heavy.
So yeah, it's very, very high ABV, especially for a Canadian.
Yeah, and that brings me to something that I always say, and I always will continue to say until I find something that proves me wrong. Most Canadians that are cask strength or 50 plus are delicious. I haven't had very many high proof Canadians that aren't spectacular. The Wiser 35 is at 50%, and it's marvelous. Of course, it is. It's 35 years old, so a lot of time in wood there. But the Lot 40 cask strength, the Alberta Premium cask strength, and just going from we could use Lot 40 as an example, but the standard base bottling of Lot 40 is actually not bad. It's
not bad at all.
Solid.
It's
a solid rye.
Yeah, it is. But then you go cask strength, and it's like, oh my god, this is fantastic. But that regular Alberta Premium at 40% legal minimum is, in my opinion, horrid. And whatever, to each their own. If you enjoy it, rock and roll, that's fantastic. For me, I really don't enjoy it. I can't drink it. And then you get the same product, not watered down, and it is delicious. That punchy dill that everyone's mentioning, that mint, I am getting a little bit of that.
Now this is the Alberta you're
what's that?
This is the Alberta that you're smelling, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That little tropical banana that Adam mentioned, which is fantastic when you have someone else be able to mention notes, and then it enters into your brain and you go, yeah, okay. And that's why I love tasting stuff with Adam present, because you truly do, in my opinion, get a whole lot more than you would just by yourself, and the limited notes that anyone that's not Adam has.
It's the power of the ginger. That's what it comes down to.
There seems to be a lot of ginger whiskey connections in the world, and I can't deny it. There's scientific evidence to strongly back this up. So,
hey, I gotta say, it's all practice. Seriously, like this is something you can train yourself to do. And I know that I am not, anywhere close to the best taster out there. I'm not even in the top tier, I think. I've met some really crazy people. But yeah, it's all just practice and learning to look for certain to just start making connections between different experiences.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. It's fun. This is like completely changed in the glass for me, by the way.
Yeah, it 100% has.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of the funk has lightened up. It's much more floral now.
It's getting a touch sweet as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm getting a lot more floral, actually. Almost a perfumed
herby.
I definitely get the sweetness Vito was talking about. That definitely comes through, and it's more of that tropical banana kind of flavor.
Yeah, and which I never, truth be told, never had as a note on this one before. I find with a lot of rye dill bombs, the dill, I just want to talk about the dill. I just want to taste the dill. It's something that is very overwhelming. So there's not a lot of room for my brain to think about the subtle stuff underneath. But it's great. It's for someone like me, and I know Ed, if Ed's still watching, it's that really punchy, dilly, like this is rye. And you can tell from even opening, I have a smaller 8-ouncer of it from a previous split. And even that little spout in the 8-ouncer, you smell it and open it up, and it's rye right in the face. And I love that. Go ahead.
No, sorry. You can finish your thought. Sorry, my apologies.
I was just saying, having the American whiskey background that I do, that's all that I enjoyed was bourbon, as everyone knows, for quite a while.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy it, and up until the last few years, every single one of my favorite ryes was American. Every single one. So
that makes sense.
This is a fantastic breath of fresh air.
So Steve, Puffs and Drams said that he's getting close because he's drinking along as well.
I totally agree.
I totally agree as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It took a bit of time because it would have cloves is fairly pungent normally for me, but it's evolved into that.
that rye spice note sort of changes into like almost like a clove note. I could totally see
Yeah,
that.
this is complex as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And who thought you'd ever say
I can
that
also
about a Canadian?
I also find that you can retard the
Right.
process by covering
Sure.
it. When I covered it up, all of a sudden I got more of the dill kicking up.
I just put a coin back on the glass right now to see what that does for a minute or two.
Well, I can't take it any longer. I'm going to dig into this. And for
Yeah, I've been
everyone
skipping ahead.
for everyone in the
Yeah.
chat, list off what you guys are drinking tonight. And hello to everyone that's joined in. You got Graham, obviously Steve, Greg, Richie Z, Patrick Cohn,
Ian Waller's in there.
Ian, Greg. That's like Greg, I think.
Graham was mentioning that the regular Alberta Premium at 40% is in fact not at all rye, quite high percentage of corn in it, which is very, very common for Canadian rye.
Yep.
I
I think that's why the Lot 40 is so well received everywhere else, because I think it's an actual rye, I believe, even the regular release.
Yeah,
The regular Reese is rye, yeah.
Is Greg T Stag Greg that's been joining the happy hour?
Yep.
Awesome. Hey Greg, what's up, buddy?
Patrick from My Whiskey Den is here, and Whiskey Jason is still in with us.
Yeah, having some Wild Turkey 101. Can't go wrong there.
My favorite go-to bourbon. So versatile, so good.
Yeah.
Solid.
When you consider everything, it's and strangely enough, the only other bourbon that not only other, but one of the main 5 bourbons that you can put in that category is not super expensive, amazing value for what you're getting, is readily available, is Rare Breed. It's definitely more expensive. It's, I guess, 25 bucks more expensive. But again, it's a barrel proof, so it's still very reasonable for a barrel proof.
James always has a bottle on tap.
Always have a bottle on hand.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice stuff.
And the 101 is just the same. You could walk into any LCBO in Ontario, even if you're up north, in small towns, cottage country, anywhere, and you can walk in and pick up a 101 for 35 bucks and you're set.
Yep.
And you just can't go wrong.
So I missed out on some people that they were saying. So Patrick's drinking Cody Road bourbon.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Yes.
Richie's on the Knob Creek 12-year small batch. Greg's having some Canadian breakfast stout.
Excellent.
Jim's having some. He has some Castmate stout. Now he's on the bottom shelf with some JP Weiser's rye. It's good, man. Good. And Ian was drinking Craig Ellicky 13. All good choices, guys. All great choices.
Yeah. And Patty, this is the famous Dave.
The famous Dave. The Dave.
Every stream. Here he is.
Yeah, we do mention you quite often, Dave.
I know. It's kind of funny.
Well,
He's worth mentioning.
Half of the time I'm drinking something that you gave me. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yeah. The maybe later. I just wanted to bring it up now so we don't forget, because we're on a roll with the tasting here. But I think that we should touch on the Canadian laws and how lax they are, because there's a lot of people I'm sure would find it entertaining to hear the actual classification for what's considered Canadian whiskey or rye whiskey, for that matter.
We'll do it just before we jump into the Lot 40. I think we'll take a breather. Have a water. Talk about the crazy laws.
And Scott's drinking some Cab Sav. Excellent choice.
Oh, Cab Sav.
Ooh, yeah, nice one, Scott.
I love a good Cabernet Sauvignon.
I got jealous since I don't have any of that Alberta Premium, so I started drinking some Orphan Barrel Entrapment.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one to talk about.
Still haven't had it.
It's probably the lowest proof Canadian whiskey that I enjoy, because it's 41%, but it's still very good.
Stick around, and I might be drinking some Cab Sauv too, just attached to Long Row.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the closest thing I have to. To Cab Sav.
Damn straight.
Nice.
The that Orphan Barrel is 25, right? 25 years old, and it's Crown Royal, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's another example, and although it's not Cask Strength, it's another example of love being put before speedy mass production.
Love and barrel choices rather than just like how much can we put out.
Exactly. So you've got your Crown Royal, because that's better than I've had most of the fancy Crown Royals, the blue, the red, all the different reserve, all of that.
Yeah. Oh, this blows that stuff out of the water.
Absolutely, sure. Big time.
In my opinion, anyway. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, people like what they like.
Well, my opinion too. So combined with the both of us,
there you go. Yeah. So
right.
Objective truth. Two people have agreed, so it's now objective truth.
Two wrongs make a right. Isn't that what they say?
And two rights still make a right.
And weirdly, it still tastes like Crown Royal, but good.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I remember that was really, really unique, and I can still remember getting some of that Crown Royal. It's the Crown Royal kind of sweetness, but it's not overly sweet, and it's complex. It's obviously, however long it's spent 25 years in wood, is offering a lot to that whiskey, and it is quite nice.
I don't know. I described it to my friends as what Crown Royal could be.
Right.
Mm.
If they actually tried.
Yeah.
But they don't need to. Which
they don't.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, because we didn't really touch upon the taste very much, but at 65.1%, it's not typically your typical hot whiskey.
No, I thought it was really drinkable.
Right, it's drinkable, but it's got like a pepper garlic heat to it.
Garlic is interesting.
Like it's
strong rye spice.
Like it's just got that like surrounding sort of warmth, but it's not warm here. You're warm in the upper throat and everything. It's like if you have a load of garlic in a dish and it's kind of like peppery and hot on the palate, and where versus like in the chest. It's very surreal to have at least for me, have a whiskey this high and not feel it like that Kentucky hug sort of thing.
Yeah, totally.
No, it's like a Scotch that just aged right, isn't alcohol forward. That's what it reminds me of, because you don't usually see rye this high and without the burn, and it's just not there.
Yeah. And truth be told, I get far more alcohol forward notes from the 40%. Yeah. And I mean far more.
Yeah.
I agree.
Incidentally, I did find I had a freebie just kicking around of the 40. If I can find a glass, I'll pop it out.
A quick hello to my whiskey friend. Alan and Ed's back in the chat. So so for everyone that's kind of joining in, we're in the middle of tasting the Cask Strength Alberta Premium that was bottled at 65.1%, 100% rye mash. That's the bottle, Alberta Premium Limited Edition. There's no bottle amount on here, but I would assume that there's a certain amount of bottles that they made.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot, though. I mean, even at Cask Strength, they've got to have an incredible amount of spirit to bottle. But one thing's for sure. With the response they're getting, I'm willing to bet that we will see this as a yearly release from them.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
My guess is it's really young too. It's not.
What has to be really 3 years, right?
Huh?
No, it feels about 5-6 years, maybe at the most, in that area. But again, with that punchy cask strength, sometimes it's hard to narrow that down. But I'm not getting. That's the other thing. A lot of Canadian distilleries use like super reused barrels, and what it had in before was Canadian whiskey. So there's not a lot to offer from that wood or the spirit that was held previously. So I would have to say it's rather young by comparison.
To put it in context for the Go ahead. To put it in context for the Americans, that bottle was, I think, $65 in Ontario. $65 Canadian,
Canadian.
which is like 40 US. So this is not an expensive bottle either. Some of the how much was the Weiser's 35 cask strength? I'm just trying to think of how much the
35?
regular
23 cask strength.
23 cask
23.
strength.
Yeah,
Was
That's 150 Canadian.
150.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
35 was 180, I think.
Yeah,
Canadian?
180 to 200.
200, yeah, something like that.
So even within the realm of special release Canadian whiskeys, this is still pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and again for cask
even
strength, you can't really complain.
Even the lot 40 was 90,
there you go.
89 something.
And that was the least expensive of them all.
Was it?
Oh,
Of those, yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The very first release was $70.
You're right.
Wow.
Yes.
And then they realized that they have something quite special and bumped it up a little bit, which I still feel is reasonable to ask for what you're getting.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, extra appreciation to all you guys across the pond who are joining us late at night. / early in the morning. That's awesome. Glad to have you guys here.
Absolutely.
All right, so shall we table the whiskey, the Alberta Premium talk real quick, and who wants to take lead on talking about the Canadian laws? Since Dan was kind of eager to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll just go over it real quick, and I'm sure we all have something to add on it. But for those of you that don't know, our whiskey laws are maybe outside of India the most lax laws on the planet.
Japan too.
Japan.
Oh yeah,
Japan's the crazy one.
Japan is also we can literally have a whiskey with no rye in it whatsoever and legally call it rye whiskey. I'm not joking. This is real. This is real life.
And you can have a little bit more than 9%, whatever the hell you want.
Yes, that's
and still call it rye whiskey or any kind of Canadian whiskey.
You could literally have no rye and some cognac, and it can be called rye whiskey. And there's two sides to look at that. One is that's ridiculous. Like, we need to tighten things up and have some type of regulation. The other way to look at it is that opens up a lot of doors for experimenting and doing stuff. So it's Bareface that's done that recently.
Yep.
They've specifically been adding, I believe one was like a mezcal. I can't remember.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yep.
Did they add mezcal, or was that in mezcal barrels?
No, they added actual mezcal in it.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe they added.
Because what is it? 1/11th?
It's
Something like that.
9.09%.
It's like 9.1 something.
9.09. Yeah.
So we can have 9% of a different spirit. You could put 9% vodka in and still called whiskey. So yes, I see the side of it with that's being ridiculous, but again, yeah, their Bareface 111 opening up.
Actually, I've got it in front of me. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
So I've got it in front of me. Canadian whiskey producers can add 9.09% of wine, sherry, cognac, and/or any whiskey spirit that's been matured for at least 2 years. So even though there's the same rule with Scotch, where it has to be 3 years and a day aged to be called Canadian whiskey, you can still have 9.09% of 2-year-old whiskey. So rather famously, the oldest ever release at one point of Canadian whiskey, which was a Canadian Club 41, contained a decent amount of, I think, sherry and port in it. Cognac. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Which seemed a little ridiculous. And I didn't actually get to try it. I heard it was all right.
I remember
I tried the 40-year-old and it was all right.
Remember when Dan was so excited about its release, and then it came out that cognac was poured in with the whiskey? He was having none of it. He was so disappointed.
I was pretty upset, and that's because I didn't know that.
Pretty
that
upset?
was the start. And I understand for certain reasons why. I think the main reason in that is you want to extend that volume of 40-year-old whiskey as much as you possibly can. So adding in that 9% of a different spirit at the end of a run is going to have a drastic effect on the amount that you can in fact release. And I did try it, and it's not horrible, but it's not, in my opinion, a big waste of 40 years, and not worth the price. Just by comparison, just to pick it out, the Wiser's 35-year-old is twice as good, in my opinion, as that 41-year-old Canadian Club.
And the Wiser's 35 was what, 180, and this 41-year-old was $300, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you guys know anything?
When you consider that,
you guys know anything about the Masterson's Rye?
Not enough to speak on it. I know it exists. I've seen it. I can't say that I've had it, to be fair. So
I've not heard of it, truthfully.
I've seen it. I haven't got it.
It's usually in the fancy cabinet at the LCBO.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay, so I have seen it.
Yeah.
I think the reason we haven't bought it is that it's $120 for a 10-year-old straight rye.
Hey, Graham.
And isn't it
Thursday?
Isn't it sourced rye?
Hey, Graham.
I think it might be. Yeah.
Hey, Graham.
We know you're
Graham?
super busy.
Graham.
Super busy with the. Oh shoot! I've forgotten the name. White Dog.
White Dog Bus. White Dog Bus. That's right.
We know you've been super busy. Just quickly, anybody here that wouldn't recommend that Alberta Premium Cask Strength to anyone?
Oh, all day, every day.
All day.
Like, yeah,
Everyone.
I don't know. I don't recommend whiskeys that I haven't tried, so I can tell you.
No one buys it. Well, leave it all for us.
Okay, so we're being rescued by Graham Young here, who has had the Masterson's Rye, and it is indeed Alberta Premium Spirit, and it tastes very similar indeed. So
there you go.
Awesome. That's good to know. Maybe something we can go splits on in the future.
Certainly.
And check that one out. Maybe on our Canadian Stream Volume 2.
I like that.
Oh wow! I did not know that. So the Alberta Dark Horse Rye was primed with sherry too.
There you go.
I
didn't know. Yeah.
I don't hear too many people say bad things about the Dark Horse.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. I have a bottle. I used to like drinking it, but it's one of the few whiskeys that gives me a headache even after a couple of small pours. I don't know. Maybe it's the sherry component or something else.
Maybe extra sugar.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on the sweet end for sure. So I don't know, not really my thing, but it's not horrible by any means.
No, absolutely not.
It's funny you should say that, Brad, because a lot of rum drinkers I know, that's like their favorite whiskey. So that sweetness is probably definitely. I personally haven't had it, so I can't say.
We can fix that.
I think I have a bottle floating around somewhere. I'll drop you off some.
I have some too. So
Beckham will be happy to see your bike again.
We'll have to wait for the snow to stop in the next few days, and then I'll take the bike up again.
Is it snowing where you guys are?
It's going to be snowing this weekend, dude.
Yeah, apparently.
Welcome. That's another great thing about Canada.
We swear this is not normal weather.
That's right.
In Southern Ontario, it's usually 70 degrees.
I feel like
blame the murder hornets and everything else. It's just 2020.
I feel like Mother Nature's just punking us right now, just being like, fuck all you guys.
Wait, you guys are relaxing your regulations on social distancing? Well, let me go ahead and get some snow out there for you.
In May, god damn it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to the Lot 40 Cask Strength. I'll put up just because we're about 15 minutes, and we tend not to want to jump in on Ed's stream time.
Yeah, true enough. So which one is that? The non-age statement we're doing?
This is the 20. This is the third edition.
So the non-age statement one.
Right. So, bottle number 2170 of 5460, bottled at 57%, and it's been sitting in my glass with a coin on it.
Same here.
And I think we'll go from Dan, Brad, me, and finish off with Dave for the nosing of this whiskey.
You're gonna make me go after Adam.
Yeah,
I don't have any of this whiskey in
Somebody
front of
has
me.
to go after Adam.
I don't have any of this whiskey in front of me, so you got to
I'm
pass.
teasing you.
Oh, there you go.
Right away. And this is, Brad, I can't help but think that this is different than the spirit that we actually tried last year in the spring.
It's a little different for sure.
Yeah, Brad and myself and another friend of ours got to try the Northern Border collection last spring, months and months before it was released. In fact, I believe when we tried it, they didn't even have a label design yet. So it was fantastic to try them in the presence of the man who made the whiskey. And this one is a big departure. I get vanilla leather. The dill is not there. There is zero dill. And from previous Lot 40 releases, this is a big departure. And some people don't like it. Some people love it. I happen to think it's fantastic. And it's like a soft leather chair with a bit of vanilla. And I believe it was French oak for this release.
I think so, yeah.
And he did a lot of specific barrel char experiments to get the absolute most vanillins that he could out of that char.
Now, when you say he,
Dr. Don. So
Dr.
Don Livermore has a PhD in distilling, a PhD in distilling and blending, I believe it is. But you can.
Yeah, I actually have his cards sitting on my desk.
Yes.
Right now, made
Wow, what a
of
big shot.
barrel wood.
It is the coolest. It is a cool, and that's it. When we met him and we were talking to him, somebody asked if the card was made from a whiskey barrel, and he said, "It's not, but I should tell people that it is." But yeah, I get known. To be totally honest, wouldn't be able to guess this as a rye based on the nose alone. Because there is a subtle kind of sweetness there that it's not that bold rye notes that most barrel proof ryes do have. But it's quite wonderful. Oh, okay, so it's like a hand cream.
Oh, goddamn! There's creaminess there.
Yeah, I would like almost like a vanilla pudding or something instead of like vanilla extract.
When we had it, Brad, I believe you said
it was the
French
vanilla ice cream, like melted. Yeah.
And you.
But it still has
right.
definitely that direction to it. It's not quite.
No, it's not the same. Not the same.
But it's definitely in that direction. That smells so good.
French oak is magic, man. I really like French oak maturation for whiskey.
Yeah, it works.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm smelling what Dan and Brad were saying, but like at the same time, I'm getting a bit of like a honey syrup.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like a thick sweetness, but along with like that French vanilla ice cream and the sort of like vanilla pudding stuff. Again,
the
vanilla
getting stronger for me with more air.
It is extremely vanilla for a rye.
It is not, again, just like the Alberta Premium. This is not a typical Canadian. I really don't think you'd be able to pick this out of a line of ryes and say.
Yeah, Graham is saying like he's not a rye fan. Neither am I, and this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on rye either.
And
both of these have been stellar. Well, again, I haven't tasted the Lot 40 yet, but so far, James, what do you get anything different?
I get all the same things. I get the vanilla. I get a little bit more oak on this one than I find than probably the Alberta Premium.
Okay,
But
yeah.
But there is it doesn't have that rye spice note to it. There's just a little bit of, I get a little bit of mint almost on the back, but it's very minor, and I don't know. I don't find it tastes very typically rye at all, or smells very typically rye.
I don't know. You said mint, and I went straight to like those like caipirinhas and mojitos and stuff like that, and I got I got more lime somehow from that rather than mint. But the idea of the mint made me think of that, and
sure,
getting almost like an after 8, like with the chocolate.
That's exactly what I would say.
Now that you said that, I could see.
Good night, Jason. Whiskey Jason's taken off. It's got to be late for him. It's probably close to 2 or 3 in the UK right now.
Yeah.
What a guy! Cheers, thanks for joining it.
2
o'clock. Cheers.
Adam, what are you drinking right now?
This is still the Alberta Premium.
Still the Alberta. All right, we're gonna skip you then, Dave.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting the oak definitely. I mean, the vanilla is like completely up front, but I'm getting the oak, and there is like hiding among the oak spice. There is a bit of the rye spice. You really pick at it. It's kind of hiding.
Yep, it's in there. I'm kind of tying that in with that minty note that James was mentioning.
And that's like at the after end.
And it is underneath all of that soft vanilla.
Yep.
Soft is a word. Soft and creamy is a word that's really keeps wanting to come out.
Yeah.
Especially by contrast of the Alberta Premium that we just had. That's like super spiky, punchy rye.
I know.
Yep. Some people don't seem to like this one. The nose is very pleasant.
I just got baseball glove is one of my favorite leather notes, puffs and drams.
100%, he nailed it. I was trying to figure out what kind of specific leather.
Yeah, I could totally go with that one. Yeah, absolutely. Now that you suggest it,
yeah, absolutely.
See, clearly
and again, if you've never chewed on a baseball glove, I strongly suggest getting an old glove because when you're sitting on the bench. Or you're playing right field. You gotta chew. You gotta have a chew, man. Like it's just something that happens, right? I've spent my hours chewing on a baseball mitt. It's a note that I have offered up many times. A lot of bourbon. I will get the baseball mitt note, and on that one, it's not just something that you say that sounds crazy, like a burning something or this or that, because like I damn well know what it tastes like.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Vanilla for days.
Vanilla stays.
Oh, wow.
Way more of that complex rye into it now, and you can tell, okay, we got some rye going on.
Yeah.
But it's still so vanilla.
That's vanilla.
It is running a little hotter than the Alberta Premium.
Oh yeah, 100%. You're getting it. You're definitely getting it a lot more heat in the chest and stain, and it's vanilla bean for me. It's like specifically vanilla bean.
Scott Hartman, you've never been on the bench, but when your team goes to bat and you're not on deck or in the hole, you're probably sitting on the bench. And that's what I was referring to, my man.
In the whole title of your sex tape.
On the classy bench, as always, Vito.
God damn it! I'm early for the After Dark stream. God damn it!
You got an hour and 5 minutes to wait. Jeez, come on.
If you guys are around, you're more than welcome to hop back on around 10 when we go do the After Dark.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, sure.
Because I may not be able to, depending on how far we get. We're doing a Breakfast Club puzzle right now.
Nice.
So, and nighttime is mommy daddy puzzle time.
Sure.
Best of luck.
Nice.
Did you guys see that
code?
Yeah.
So you say.
Did anyone see that big ass puzzle that I forget the company, but it's all white?
Oh,
it's like 1,000 piece all white puzzle.
Yeah, that's called Anxiety Attack in a Box.
I've seen one that's not even like a square. Like the outside is like
it's
Oh God.
Oh,
No, just no.
yeah. It was,
Oh, my.
I didn't try to do it, but I've seen that it
Oh
exists.
God,
It would drive me insane.
that's one of those.
I knew a
like,
person
you
who did it
really-
upside down.
If you have an acute case of too much time on your hands, that's what you go for.
I'm
That is
going
the best
to just.
Oh, Graham is saying in the chat that he saw a clear one. That
Oh,
would be
that's
bizarre.
even worse.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Yeah, that would bother me.
That's just not right.
I'm
That would
going
hurt my brain.
to. I'm going to revert back to whiskey talk for a brief moment.
Yep.
And say that I really enjoy this.
This is
And
really good.
the problem that I think a lot of people have that have said they dislike this year's release, I think they're trying to hold it up against the previous year's releases, which are Punch You in the Face, Dill Bomb, Rye, here you go, Cask Strength Rye.
Yeah.
And they're great. They're spectacular. I love them. It's a lot of qualities in Rye that I love. They've both of all three of these releases are in my top 5 favorite Rye of all time. And before it used to be all American 100%. So now 3 of those 5 are Canadian. But it's a different ball game. He didn't want it to taste like that. And no, he wasn't stuck for aged whiskey. He's not stuck for 11-year-old or 12-year-old whiskey. They've got millions of barrels of whiskey. He tried something different. He wanted to pull out a lot of those wonderful vanilla notes that you get from a charred French oak like he did. And I believe he succeeded. In my opinion, this is an absolute delicious rye that I would recommend day or night to even fans of, like Ed, I don't know if you're watching, I would recommend this to you, someone who loves a Punch You in the Face rye. It's a wonderful change of pace, and you still get all of the rye qualities underneath that really nice vanilla effect.
Yeah, this is definitely not what I was expecting. Again, I've never had a lot 40 Cask Strength, if I'm not mistaken. I may have tried it, but I don't recall it.
Didn't you? Yes, you definitely.
You must have had it.
We had a bottle at your house in your basement.
Then I don't remember very much.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're admitting that finally, but we definitely did at your house, and I believe it was the birthday gathering when we had like 70 bottles on your table down there, and
that would have definitely been the time to have it. But
there was absolutely some there.
Yeah,
I think it might have been Scotty that brought that or picked it up from Dave or somebody that had originally ordered it. But either way, you did have some, but it was even in that night alone would have been buried under, 6 or 7, 8, 9 other whiskeys. So
like Glen going 21.
Oh boy, I need to get myself another bottle of that.
Yeah, that was magical.
Yeah,
it is great.
It is great.
So to quickly, I want to quickly do 3 things. I want to say one thing about the lot 40 in regards to what Dan was saying of every year being a little bit different. I could see if this continues happening where it's a yearly release, I could see this being our Bookers, the Canadian Bookers, where they're constantly evolving the taste, and it's never like a new label. Well, it's Kathleen's batch or whatever, but
right.
It's just this year's release of it, and they're naming it, right? And it's never always the same. It's always a little bit different, always kind of changing and evolving. And if no one has a problem with the way Booker's handles that release, but they have a problem with the way a lot 40 is handling these releases, I think they need to kind of like take a step back and just be like, other companies are doing this. It's not out of the norm. They're always constantly doing something. If you want something to be consistent, you're not going to look at a limited edition, a yearly release to have that same consistency. So
yeah,
totally agree.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw in one quick thing before we go. So, folks, I know this was a brief one. We only touched on a couple whiskeys, but we do have amazing whiskeys up here. They do exist. It's not just a saying, we keep the good stuff. It's real. If you ever get the opportunity to try any of the whiskeys we mentioned or any Canadian whiskey that's at Cask Strength.
Or at least not at 40%.
Yeah. I personally avoid Canadian whiskey at 40% with a passion. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, 99% of them aren't spectacular. You got to get the high proof stuff where the love is left in the whiskey.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I want to. Obviously, we're gonna thank Dave, Adam, and James for joining us tonight. You guys are.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Like it was good seeing you guys' faces, and in this time, it's been quite some time. We need to do this again. 100%.
100%.
And
about an hour, we'll do that.
Yeah,
got it.
An hour.
Sure.
And yeah, so for anyone still watching, thanks for joining us. We're gonna hop over to the Rock Up Review channel for Ed's stream and heckle him in chat real quick, and then back here in an hour for the Cask Strength After Dark stream. So with that, cheers.
Thanks for coming.
And go Canada, bud?
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, hosers. That's delicious.
That's really good.